Hey Oliver, check out these beautiful potatoes.
Ooh.
Thanks so much for helping harvest, buddy. Hey everybody. Here's Oliver, who's been hanging out in the garden this morning. He's been helping me harvest some potatoes. So I've got this nice basket here of potatoes. Potatoes, right? Yeah, he loves potatoes. Who doesn't love potatoes? So these are a variety called Upstate Abundance. They are a kind of a waxy, small potato. As you can see, they're not very big. They're beautiful, but they set a ton. And they were developed by the guys over at Row 7 Seeds. And that's the seed company that Dan Barber started with his farmers at Blue Hill Stone Barns in upstate New York. They are a lovely little potato. Hey, check those potatoes out, buddy. So they're a lovely little potato, waxy style potato, super good roasted. And anyway, I love harvesting them really young and really little when they're small like this, and just eating them like new potatoes, tossing them in butter, chopped parsley, and that's it. Super awesome. Well, we're gonna take these back to the kitchen, and I'm gonna do one of my favorite small potato dishes called, I call them smashed potatoes. They're, yes, buddy, did you drop a potato? Oh no, we dropped the potato. There you go, buddy. Oh, you put it back in the basket? Thank you, buddy. All right, you're gonna get done. All right, so we're gonna take some of these back to the kitchen, and then we're gonna do what I like to call smashed potatoes.
Ooh.
There really is something rather magical about harvesting potatoes. Sticking a fork in the earth and turning it over to reveal these beautiful little potatoes. There's nothing quite like it. I always grow a bed of these little potatoes as well as a bigger bed of my late season potatoes that I leave in the ground as long as possible, and those will be my winter storage potatoes. Oliver and I were able to get a very nice little basket of potatoes, and there's still quite a few in the ground for another time.
Dada, potato.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the kitchen. Let's make some smashed potatoes. So we've got some of these absolutely gorgeous Upstate Abundance potatoes here that Oliver and I harvested this morning. Took about 1.5 pounds of them, somewhere around there. Washed them up, made sure they weren't all dirty, and I will use those to show you how to make this awesome, super delicious side dish of crispy potatoes. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take about 1.5 pounds of our potatoes. I'm gonna put them in a little pot here, cover them with some water, add a good amount of salt to them, and we're gonna bring them up to a simmer and cook them for about 15 minutes so they're just about done. If they're slightly underdone, that's also totally fine.
Simmer your potatoes, do not boil them hard.
So I've got my potatoes on the stove behind me. I've got them just covered, some water, and added about 1 tablespoon of salt to them. You want the water nice and salted so that those potatoes will be cooked in a nice salty water. They'll be seasoned throughout, and it'll make for much better results. I've also got my tray ready here for the oven later, and then I've got about 4 tablespoons of melted butter sitting on my stove here. So what we're gonna do here with this is we're gonna take those potatoes once they've cooked for about 15 minutes till they're a little bit tender, put them on a tray, toss them in some salt, pepper, fresh thyme, toss a couple cloves of garlic on there, and then there's a couple ways to do this. You can use the back of a pan, you can use the back of the bottom of a mason jar, or you can use potato masher. We're just gonna gently crush those cooked potatoes, and then we're gonna stick them in a 450-degree oven for another 20-25 minutes till they get super duper crispy, golden brown on the outside, and just absolutely awesome.
Pick the leaves off the thyme and give it a rough chop.
So the potatoes cooked for about 15 minutes. I drained them off, let them sit in the colander because I would like to let them steam for just about a minute or so, maybe 2, just to let any residual moisture that's on the outside of the potatoes steam off so that when we toss them in our butter and our herbs and our seasonings, they're gonna be nice and dry. They'll get a lot crispier that way. We'll take our potatoes here, pour them out on
my cookie sheet. I've got about 4 tablespoons of butter here. And I'm going to pour that over top of our potatoes. We're going to season them with just a little bit of salt, some freshly cracked black pepper, we're going to toss our crushed cloves of garlic on the tray, as well as our picked and chopped thyme leaves. Get those all on there. And then we're just gonna roll these around. I mean, if you're doing this, they're kind of hot, so just be careful. So I've got these potatoes now tossed with the seasonings, the thyme, the garlic, the salt, and the pepper. There's a couple ways we're gonna do this crushing step. Potato masher works, back of a mason jar works, but I like using a little pan like this, and we're just gonna gently just crush them so that they're just lightly flattened. You don't want to crush them so much that they start to break apart into many different pieces. You want to still keep them as somewhat of a coherent potato. Continue to crush the rest of your potatoes. Spread them out to make sure they can get nice and crispy all around. Then stick them in a preheated 425-degree oven. Let them roast till they're beautiful, golden brown and crispy on the outside. There they are. Crispy on the outside, buttery on the inside, thyme, garlic, salt, pepper, butter. Awesome. These things are so good. Great as a side dish, great on their own like this. You can even use them as kind of like a vehicle for a dip if you want, like romesco or aioli or something like that. They are just great. Cheers, y'all. Crispy smashed potatoes. They couldn't be easier. They couldn't be more delicious. If you like that video and you enjoy what we're doing here, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out a lot. Thanks, guys.